Eric, because it's a decade since you published your book, Fast Food Nation, can you go back in time and give us a little snapshot of what the food landscape was like then, the sort of egregious horrors that struck you the most?
You know, I really started investigating the fast food industry in the late 90s. It was 1997 that I took an assignment from Rolling Stone. And the industry really seemed like it was going to grow, and that mentality of uniformity and conformity and control and, you know, processing being the ideal was just going to continue. And in the last decade, things have really been transformed in a certain segment of society. I mean, we now have a food movement, and we now have, you know, incredible writing on sustainability, and I think the food movement is the real social movement of today on college campuses. But 14 years ago, that wasn't the case, and I don't really have any expertise in food, and I was remarkably ignorant about it. And for me, I was just constantly amazed at what I was learning about the food that I was eating, and that's what the story behind Fast Food Nation was just kind of this feeling that the truth was being deliberately hidden from us, and that the reality was appalling. And so that's 14 years ago.
So Michael, we now jump forward 10 years from when the book was published. A different landscape? Just speaking from the point of view of food itself, not necessarily the movement yet, the way it's produced.
No, amazing things have not changed, and we shouldn't, you know, exaggerate how much has actually been achieved in the industrial food system. But now we have another food system. I mean, I think what we have are two different food systems, and that's an encouraging thing, but also troubling because, you know, one of them is less accessible than the other. But I mean, there have been some small reforms, I think, since Fast Food Nation. You know, you've had McDonald's has made their slaughter practices somewhat more humane than they were. And what else? You think of anything else?
Well, wait. They have apple slices that you can dip in caramel.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And they figured out how to make a salad that actually has more calories than a Big Mac.
That's
right. That's an impressive achievement
really impressive,
of food science. It's not easy to cram that many calories, and as a cook, you know this, into a salad.
I do think that what we have now, which we didn't have 14 years ago, is we have essentially two food systems. And we have one food system now that's increasingly feeding the upper middle class and the wealthy. And then we have the same industrial fast food system that's, you know, serving the vast majority of Americans. And it's almost like a science fiction film in the sense that the well-to-do and the well-educated are eating incredibly good food and fit as can be with their personal trainers. And the vast majority of Americans are being made seriously unhealthy. And you can almost, you know, trace and plot obesity by level of education and level of income. But I'm optimistic in the sense that, you know, I feel like this movement is going to grow and expand, and it didn't really exist 14 years ago. There had been, during the 60s and 70s, this great food movement that I was largely ignorant of, with pioneers like Wendell Berry and Alice Waters, and yet, you know, by the 90s, it seemed to have fallen out of the mass consciousness.